everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Spill It. Spill It is a show where I get to speak to inspirational people and share some inspirational stories to connect people together, inspire others, and help people learn something new. This is episode 75, a Christmas for everyone. And my special guest for this evening, Beverley Evans, will be joining us in around 10 minutes' time. So make sure that you stay tuned for her conversation with me all around children who are on the autism spectrum and, of course, this time of year as well. We're going to be talking about how it's important to, bear in mind that, children of all different backgrounds and all different capacities are going to be out and about with their parents, either doing Christmas shopping themselves, with the parents, or going out into busy shopping centres. And it's how we can be more mindful of children who are on the autism spectrum. All of that and more, I'm going to be discussing with Beverley, so I can't wait for that. So I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy that conversation as well. For all the other episodes of Spill It, you can head over to the Spill It website, www.spillit.uk, where you'll be able to see all of the episodes that I have done so far. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do over on the website as well. You can see all of the upcoming episodes. You can also connect with all of the guests. And as well, you'll be able to support me in the work that I do by joining the official Patreon and becoming an official supporter of Spill It and becoming a little teacup of mine. You get to have your name in the credits. You get some little discounts on merch. You get all sorts of stuff over on the Patreon. So, if you wanted to, head over there. It's literally £2 per month. That's all you have to donate. There you go. That is it. Get those comments and questions in live as well. So for everybody who is watching this currently live via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, when you comment, it means that you are part of the conversation. It means that I get to interact with your comments live on air, and so does my guest as well. So if you've got questions for me or my guest, or you've just got comments and things that you want to say, then you're more than welcome to pop them into the comments, and we will interact with them live on air. If you are listening to this via the podcast services, then if you've got a question of tonight's show, or you've got some comments or whatnot, feel free to get in touch via email. You can get in touch with me, marcus@spillit.uk, or across any of my social media platforms as well, which is just spillit_Marcus. That is where you will find everything. Now, I am a little bit parched, and you know what that means? It means it is time for some tea. That is right. It is tea time. Now, before I start getting into my tea, you may notice that my voice isn't quite there. It's not quite what it usually is. And my pipper of an attitude might seem a little bit tired. That's because I am very tired. I'm not actually feeling 100%, but we are still going to persevere because we are doing this every single week. And I have been doing it for nearly 2 years now. So we do persevere regardless of how I'm feeling. We will get through this episode. So if, for example, I have to go off camera because I need to have a bit of a coughing fit, then that's what I will do. And if you hear me sniffle, then, I apologize. But I will do my best to keep this episode running very, very smoothly, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of my coughing fits, etc. So we will persevere with this episode no matter what. Now, let's get into some tea. I saw this article, Meow on a Leash. Can you guess what this is about? So over in Australia, there has been a new law that has been welcomed into the, welcomed from the government and implemented in Australia or certain parts of Australia, where if you are a cat owner, to allow your cat outside, it has to be on a leash. Now, over in the UK, and I have to say this because obviously there's a lot of people who listen and stream this to all different platforms and all different countries. In the UK, you can be a pet owner, a cat owner, and just let them roam the streets and do whatever they want to do, etc. And you hear them outside, blah, blah. And I just find it completely bizarre that Australia are now banning cats. You can actually be fined, essentially, if you are letting your cat go outside without a leash. And I just think that is, I just think it's absolutely mental. Let me pull up the actual article because, as I say, I thought I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna have to share this. So, Australian council to ban cats outside unless they are on a lead. In the 1970s, dogs would roam our streets, and I expect roaming cats will also become a thing of the past. The council behind the plan says. A council in Australia appears set to effectively ban cats from being outdoors unless they are on a lead. The planned changes to laws in Fremantle, Western Australia, would see felines prohibited from all council-owned areas, including roads, verges, and bushlands. Members of the council voted to approve proposals tabled by Councillor Adin Lang. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. On the basis it would protect wildlife and remove the risk of cats being hit by cars. So yeah, you see it quite a lot, don't you? That cats can get injured by things of like vehicles and things like that. But also they can be a danger to wildlife, and I do appreciate all of that. I'm trying to imagine what people would be like in the UK if that was a thing. What do you guys think? Drop a comment or email me with what you guys think of this as well. I want to interact with you guys on this subject. So if you are a cat owner, I want to hear from you. If you're a cat owner, what do you think about this law that is trying to be put through over in Australia to basically have your cat on a leash if it needs to go outside? I would love to know what your thoughts are. Drop a comment, let me know, let me interact with it. Or if you are listening to this on the podcast, then drop an email to me, marcus@spillit.uk, and we can discuss it on next week's show as well. Now, last but not least, for my little bit of tea for you all, end of season 2 is approaching. I can't believe it. We are coming to the end of season 2 of Spill It. I'm really looking forward to a break. I'm not gonna lie. 2 years of doing this, and I've not had a break from it. Really, I'm joking. I'm not really. I'm having a break, as like in sorts. I'm basically going to be working on a lot of different projects in the background with regards to Spill It, how it's going to run, what we're going to do going forward, the Spill It live events. There's going to be so much stuff happening with regards to Spill It in 2022 that I need just a bit of time to breathe and sort it all out and plan it all properly, etc. So at the end of 2021, that will mark the end of Spill It season 2. There is a bunch of new stuff happening in 2022, so don't worry. Spill It isn't going to go anywhere. I'm just taking a couple of months away from Spill It just to sort things out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because we've got a huge plan as well for Spill It's second birthday during season 3. Really, really cool. A returning guest, let's say. A returning guest who promised that they would be here on the season 3 100th episode. And, well, the 100th episode of Spill It, and of course, Spill It's second birthday. For those who are those long-standing members who may have watched this episode where we discussed it, if you didn't watch it, go back and listen to the episodes. But yeah, I've got a returning guest coming on. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely epic. I cannot wait for that. Well, that was my tea. Hope you feel better about that. Okay, my guest has been patiently waiting in the back. It is time to bring her out. I cannot wait to discuss this on tonight's episode. Make sure that if you have got questions or you've got comments or you want to be part of this conversation that I'm going to be having with Beverley in a minute, then drop a comment. Let's be part of it. Let's give her as well a nice Spill it, welcome, because here she is. It is the lady of the hour. It is Beverley Evans. Hello, Beverley. How are you doing?
Not bad. I'm in a little cubby hole at my mum's. So, yeah. And I'm shouting out to everyone, be quiet.
Well, you're a little bit like Harry Potter then at the minute, aren't you?
Yep.
How does it feel?
It's hot because my mother's got the flipping heating on and it's absolutely
Oh,
roasting.
no.
I'm right next to a little radiator. I'm cooking.
Well, we'll make sure that we get all the important information out so that you can dart away from that radiator, because we don't want you to be melting live on air, do we?
Yeah, you don't want me taking my clothes off to cool down. That's not what this podcast is about.
No, it's definitely not. It's a different type of podcast. This. That's what you're describing there is content that people are wanting to subscribe to, let's say.
Well, you never know. Season 3.
Well, yeah, you never know which direction season 3 may go. Who knows? But before all of that, and before we get into the conversation that we are here to talk about tonight, are you ready to play a game with me?
Yep.
Let's do it. It is this or that. This or that is a nice little icebreaker game where I play a nice simple game of this or that with my guests, just to make them feel a little bit of ease, just to understand them a little bit more, get to know them a little bit better as well. Now, it's as simple as this. I will ask you, would you prefer this or would you prefer that? And you will answer. It's as simple as that. I can't make it any easier. Does that make sense, though?
Yep.
Brill. Well, we're going to start playing. Guys who are watching this right now live, make sure that you are playing along too. Make sure you fill the comment box with what you would choose, either this or that. And guys, if you are listening to this on the podcast, whether you are going out for a run or going on a drive or, on your commute to work or however you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you play along as well. Unfortunately, we can't hear you, but feel free to play along. Just a bit of fun. Just a little bit of fun out there. Before we get going, Sermon says, "Hey, Bev Duck." There you go. You get a nice little shout out there. Now, here we go. Number 1, motorcycle or bicycle?
Bicycle.
A book or an ebook?
A book.
A book. A fan or no fan?
Ooh. Now I'll start asking you in what context. Now let's go. A fan.
A fan. Ninjas or pirates?
Pirates.
Ooh, okay. Why pirates?
No idea, Doc.
Fair enough.
Probably because I've dressed my son as a pirate several times. Perhaps that's why it's...
Oh, maybe it's just sticking with you.
Yeah. I could do a pirate outfit quite easy. Ninja, nah, not so sure about that one.
Game of Thrones or Sherlock Holmes?
Sherlock Holmes.
Nice. Was you not a fan of Game of Thrones?
Never watched it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's a good enough answer.
Only for the time, probably, not,
Yeah, probably. Theme park or water park?
Oh, water park.
Oh, okay. I'm a theme park kind of person. I love the rides.
Now I got a bit older and thought, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Underwater or up in the air?
Oh, up in the air.
Nice. I don't. Yeah, I think don't get me wrong, I think I would love to go underwater, just to go and see it all, essentially. But I definitely think, like up in the air, because you get to travel to all the different places rather than like under the sea, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to think. Like, I would rather go on holiday, and if I'm going on holiday, be on a plane rather than going under the sea to where I need to go to, like in a submarine or something.
Yeah, I did find it a bit. I've scuba dived a couple of times, and then I found it a bit spooky going on the Eurostar. Was it Eurotunnel thing the first time? I was like,
Okay.
oh, going under the sea. So I'd probably pick in the air at the minute.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I've not actually been on the Eurostar though before. What was that like?
Great, lovely. No children. It was pre-children. Lots of alcohol. It was brilliant.
I'll have to look at doing that at some point in the future. I actually want to go to Disneyland Paris, so that might be an opportunity to do that. So
Yeah.
now, last but not least, when it comes to walking, are you a fast walker or a slow walker?
Absolutely fast. Can't be doing with slow walkers. Drives me mad. Fast walker.
Get out of the way.
There's usually a pub at the end of the walk, you see. So
Yeah.
we kept moving.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Well, that was This or That. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Yep. Brill. Well, as I say, that was This or That. I hope you enjoy playing along at home as well.
I've got a couple of people saying they can't get into it, but I don't know why.
How do you mean, sorry?
They're saying, am I on the podcast? They can't find me.
Oh.
So they're obviously not logging into the right bit, I guess.
Let's have a look-see.
They're not logging into the...
See, I've got it on mine. And there's people watching on YouTube, which I've seen the comments for. So there's people watching there. I'm just wondering how come it's not working on Facebook then, because I've literally just checked mine as well, and there's a couple of people who have said not to. Let me just quickly drop a comment and tag them in it.
Hi, Maya. Maya says she's watching.
Oh, right, there you go. So you've got somebody there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what may be going on, but it doesn't matter. We'll still be able to do it anyway, and people will be able to come back and watch it anyway. It just might be a little bit of a glitch, that's all. So we'll carry on. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to be talking about children who are on the spectrum around this time of year as well, and what it's like being a parent, maneuvering Christmas, and trying to be the best parent in the eyes of your child when your child, is on the autism spectrum. So people know about who you are. Who are you? What do you do? And give a bit of background of who you are.
I'm 52, born and bred in Leicester, but I did my nurse training in High Wycombe when I was 27. And just before I finished my training, I met Luke. And although I'd said I'd never get married and never have children, 20 years later, I'm married with 3 children. Don't know really what happened, but I'm a paediatric nurse and I live in Buckinghamshire. I never moved back home. Once I'd met Luke, we stayed there and settled down there. So I'm a manager in the NHS, so I manage community services in London and working in learning disability area at the minute. So I've got 3 kids, 14, how old are they? 14, 12, nearly 13 and 9. And so the middle one, Johnny, he's on the spectrum. He was diagnosed when he was 5. He's in mainstream school. My youngest was diagnosed 2 years ago now. She's in mainstream school. the eldest, she's struggling with anxieties and what have you, and she's got to do a self-assessment for ASD, so it's quite likely she's on the spectrum somewhere. All her old teachers don't seem surprised.
So
There's lots of family history as well. Sorry, go on.
No, go. So what was the family history? Carry on.
I've got 3 older sisters, all quite a bit older than me. I've got a great niece who's on the spectrum. My husband's one of 3, his brother and his sister. His brother sadly passed away 2 years ago. He was diagnosed ASD and ADHD in his 40s. And
Wow.
and Paul said, being diagnosed really helped him to know and understand how he behaved like he did as a child and how he was different to Luke and things like that. So I think we've always been very, very open with our kids about differences, about autism and things like that. So, Johnny knew from a very young age, he doesn't like it. He gets the right hump about being autistic. And I say to him, well, it is what it is and life's hard. You're going to have to learn to manage what it means for you and get on in life.
For anybody who is out there, obviously people would have heard the term autism thrown around and may not necessarily know specifically what it really relates to. Would you be able to just give a brief explanation of what autism is and how it affects people?
Well, it's massive. It's a neurological issue that affects social communication, interaction. It can lead to mental health problems. It's really hard for me to try and encapsulate. I should have actually written something down because with my menopause as well, I can never remember what I'm wanting to say. So that's another issue. I should have said I'm a 52-year-old menopausal woman who's actually sweating to death in this little cupboard. I think there's a lot more about autism out there in the press and everything now, so people can sort of see and understand it better. However, a lot of it, people say, oh, but my child does that, or I do that, and things like that. I think for me, it's about remembering that a child who is on the autistic spectrum and behaves in that way, it's to a different level. It's more extreme, and it's how that behaviour might affect them, whereas a neurotypical child won't be affected in the same way. So when people say to me, oh yeah, my kids do that, I think, yeah, but they don't follow on and then smash their desk up or, smash a 42-inch TV because, they understand they're playing against a game, a computer game and things like that. So I'm probably not explaining it very well, but it's huge. It's a range of issues really, and about the way they see the world. They see the world very differently to somebody who's neurotypical. I don't know what the best word is anymore. They're changing the terminology all the time, and even I can't keep up with what's the right thing to say and what's not. But and I think it's always difficult to generalize, and I think that is a big problem with autism, whereas you can only really relate to your own experiences of it and then understand other people's experiences better because you've got your own experiences, and they can be on a very different level. It's a spectrum, and you can move through this spectrum at any time of your life, and people go, oh God, she's okay though, isn't she? Like somebody who's on the spectrum isn't okay. They are okay. There's nothing wrong with them. They are just made slightly differently to somebody else, and we're all different at the end of the day. But you can be affected by your autism in different ways at different times of your life, depending on the stresses you're under.
I think,
and I'm talking more from a mainstream perspective, but yeah.
Of course, and as we know that the spectrum is huge, and we know that that autism affects people in different ways, and there are many different forms of autism, specifically in children as well. And we are still learning about that autism spectrum. We're still learning about these little things that, you know, we've deemed as something previously, like, you know, 10s, 20s, 30 years ago, and we're now discovering that actually it means that they're part of this wider spectrum. So, but I think with what you've articulated there is it's very good. Anyway, I think that what you've said there is, it kind of hits nail on the head and kind of gives that emotion behind it all as well, because you are living through that and have been as well. Before we continue, now for everybody who's watching, we're just going to pause this just for a second. I will edit this out. The YouTube link is working. Now, I'm going to quickly share that YouTube link out. I don't know why it's not working. For some reason, people can't access this on Facebook, and I don't know if it's an issue with the platform that I'm using, communicating it through Facebook, but it's working via YouTube and it's working via Twitch. So I'm just going to quickly share out the YouTube link so then people can quickly watch it. As I say, for some reason, it's not working on Facebook, but I will quickly share this out now. I'm just going to quickly share you the link, the direct link as well, if you wanted to share it out to anybody who may have been trying to watch on Facebook as well. Apologies about this. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening really. There we go. So I think that should be okay now. Hopefully, anyway. As I say, it is what it is. Can't really do anything about it now. We're live, so there you go. Right. Okay. So you mentioned that obviously when you had your children, obviously that's when you discovered that. Oh, that's when you were told that they were on the spectrum. How did that make you feel as a parent?
We had lots of issues with Johnny from being really young, and I think we knew, because Luke's always said living with Johnny is just like living with his brother. There's a lot of similarity between him and his brother, but the diagnosis was made by a friend and a colleague, a paediatrician who I was working with at the time, and she was amazing. But actually, it's like being ran over by a train, even though you know. It still upsets me now to think, yeah, it's massive. And I think you then grieve for the child that you didn't. I don't even know that it's the child you didn't have. I think it's just grieve for the struggles you know that child is going to have. Everyone's going to have struggles, and everyone's going to have different struggles for lots of different reasons. But yeah, it was a bit like being ran over by a train, and I felt bereft. And it took some time, even though some people would say, but you knew, didn't you? You said that's what it was. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? A professional's told me, instead of me constantly beating myself up on my bad parent, I can't get this right. I can't make that work. You know, we're not getting through to him. We're not getting anywhere. So I think that's a big thing, really. It's validation, which is good. And it is over time. It is good. But yeah. That was hard, really hard.
Yeah. What was the support like when you first found out? Was there much support out there? Were you given resources? Were you told where to, research things? What was the support like?
Yeah, you get given links and things like that. I think for me, the best support was, and still is, friends who are living through the same thing. Obviously, your friends and family, but those who are actually living it are the ones who really truly understand. And it does take family a long time still to see it and get it, because they're not always with you and always seeing what happens, so it's been a big journey for all of our family, to be fair, not just us. It is a big journey for everyone, and school. Yeah, I think there are lots of resources. Lots of people do a lot of reading. Some people don't. I prefer to talk to people, or I'm much more visual learner, so I like to watch things and basically talk to the people. To be fair, anyone knows me, I quite like talking. But yeah, so that's a big thing for me, I think.
What was the support like then from friends and family? So you're saying that the support from them was stronger than the support from the officials, if that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. We got put on a course, which was absolutely brilliant. We literally got on it at the last minute for Johnny. And that was an amazing course. It was really, really good. And I think the problem is, as time goes on, resources change and funding changes, and I don't think that course is available anymore in the same manner it was. So I think it's now only available to, and it depends what area you live in. So again, it's postcode lottery, but that was an ASD course, Early Birds it was called, ran by provided by the National Autistic Society, and then your local teams ran it. And it was amazing. And we met the two people who ran the course, Hayley and Hill, were amazing. And they still are. I still drop into coffee mornings, obviously not now with COVID, but we would go in still and make resources and stuff when they were having their coffee morning for parents. But I know the setup and who gets to go on the course is different now. But we were so lucky to get on that course. It really was excellent. And school could attend as well, and they did a couple of times. So that was good. And the doctor was somebody I knew at the time, but then we had two locum doctors. He fell out the system, and now he's under another doctor. And there's an issue with because he's 12, he's over 11, and he needs an ADHD assessment. However, his paediatrician's saying no, that's CAMS, and CAMS are saying no because he's already open to a paediatrician. So there's all that rigmarole at the minute. And that's with Johnny. With Darcy, when she was diagnosed, very different. Girls are extremely different to boys. Honestly, the two of them, they're worlds apart, really. And I think I found that even more difficult, really. But that diagnosis came literally just after Luke's brother died. So that was a terrible year. But yeah, so that's different. And now the course we went on for that was much shorter, not so intense. I just didn't feel I was as well supported on that course. So I think that shows how things have changed over time, to be fair. And the time and the length of time, Johnny was seen fairly quickly, really, because that was so many years ago. And now Darcy, she was in the system 2 years, nearly 2 years. And we now know with my eldest, it will be at least 2 years before she even gets an appointment with a paediatrician for an assessment. Wow. So that's huge. And I know people will say, but you know what you're dealing with, you know what you're doing. It's still, for me as a parent, I still think, but am I right? Am I wrong? Is it something I'm doing? Am I failing still? I think for me, some people say they don't want labels. I don't see it as a label. It's a doorway to acceptance and help and understanding, for the children and the families, really.
Definitely, 100%. I completely agree with you with that as well. When it comes to school, how has it been for them at school, through the support through school, and what is it like, or what do you expect it to be like after school, like the support that's going to be given then?
I think it varies from school to school, and I think even in a school, as a group of parents, we've all had very different experiences within our own school. But I can only say at the minute, my school for the youngest are being amazing. They've really turned it around. I think they can really recognise that my youngest now needs an education, health and care plan, and she's highly unlikely to go to her siblings' secondary school. But, they are giving us so much help. They are being so amenable. She goes in early. She's doing craft work in the morning to get her to transition into class because she doesn't like going to school. they've seen me at my worst. And when one of the ladies in the office the other morning, when I'd physically had to carry her into school again and really force us to get through the door and things like that, she came out the office because I was crying again, which I do most mornings when I'm trying to struggle her into school. She just came out the office and just gave me a big hug. And, you know, that's massive, because the start of your day sets your day for the rest. And me and Luke tend to end up, then we're on the phone to each other later on, and we're both like, you can't focus, you can't function. Sorry. Because it affects your mood for the whole day if you've had to start like that. As for Johnny's secondary school, the first term was horrendous. He was in so much trouble all the time, and Luke wanted to pull him out. And I said, no, school have to listen. They have to listen. And because we're there, we're on it. You know, he hates it that we're on it. But the school, I have to say, because a colleague and friend of mine said secondary is a different thing. You won't get the communication and this, that, and the other. This school have been great. They have been great. They really have been great. They listen, you know, and when I say this isn't okay, what can we do? They are supportive. Nothing's perfect. It never is. Yeah, school. Yeah, okay.
Good.
Now, anyway.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to Christmas, because we are going to be, we are at the time of year where it's Christmas, and kids in general are really excited about this time of year. And I just want you to talk about what it's like, because I think people forget that children have different mindsets. They have different thoughts that go through their head, and they come from different backgrounds. And obviously some children, and we need to respect the fact that some children do have additional needs and need additional support, especially at this time of year, especially when things are getting really busy and things are getting really hectic and everything's up in the air and they don't really necessarily know what's going on or whatnot. And I'm just wondering if you'd be able to explain what it's like for you and for your family, because obviously everybody's different. So obviously you can only talk about your own experiences or things that you may have been told, etc. What it's like at this time of year being a mother of children who are on the autism spectrum.
It's interesting. It's never a dull moment. It's exciting some days, and some days it's just emotionally draining, and you just want to, disappear off with a gin and tonic bottle and a straw. Christmas, I think we have learned actually over the years, because we've always raced around the place, because my family are Leicester, Luke's in Buckinghamshire. We've learned to stay still. And quite a few years ago, we stopped doing a Christmas dinner, because trying to even get Johnny to sit at the table was horrendous. It really was hard. But, my family, my mother-in-law will admit she always thinks sitting at the table is really important and everything, and I completely get that. But now, we stopped doing Christmas dinner several years ago, and we have a roast billy to beef, homemade chips and fresh bread in pyjamas if we want. We do what we want really and relax rather than putting pressure on the kids. Trying to get them all in the car, because they all want their particular things. Everything has to be set up just right, and they have to know where they're going and when they're going, and it can be just chaos. So we don't put those pressures there anymore. And family are very understanding now. We don't force Darcy to come and sit at the table, but it's remembering. My niece always says it's remembering what is a behaviour and what is crisis, because behaviours happen for a reason for all children, and it's just working out, is that a behaviour that's, because of X, Y, and Z, or are they actually having a meltdown because they're in crisis, as opposed to something more simple that you can sort out and they're overwhelmed. We all have separate papers, so the kids all know which is their paper, so they know what to open. But my friend Polly says she puts the boys' pictures on the presents, so they know which are theirs. Also, youngest would probably just open everybody's. because he's so excited by Christmas. They both enjoy it. She says, mine do enjoy it, but Darcy opened up when I told her about the podcast and said she really doesn't like being videoed, like, because if family aren't there, especially over the last Christmas, I'd video the kids to show who bought the present, like their auntie or whatever, their reaction and stuff like that. But Johnny's never bothered. It's actually a delight to watch Johnny's because he goes bonkers. He loves it and he's so appreciative every time. Whereas Darcy says she doesn't like to be filmed at all. She said, you can film my siblings, but don't film me. So she's been able to articulate more this year. And she did talk to me about the presents and the shapes because they're all wrapped, whereas some people don't wrap them because they can't. Some kids actually who are on the spectrum like to know that's the cupboard where all your presents are. You'll get them on Christmas Day, but you can see what you're getting, and they know because the element of surprise is always difficult. But I can see in Darcy's face, I got it so wrong one year. Well, I'm even up until last minute Christmas Eve thinking, have I got it right? Have I got it right? You know, it's on a list or whatever. But yeah, that's been tough. And over the years, I've noticed how she really struggles to show the emotion. You know, she's not quite sure how to behave. So she's tended to mimic what the others do. And that made me think about when Luke's brother died and we told the three children together. She didn't know what to do. She smiled. She just didn't comprehend. She wasn't processing that information. And yeah, and she didn't cry, whereas the other two did understand better and they cried. I'm not saying you have to cry. I'm just saying I noticed a difference. She really wasn't there. She couldn't get quite where we were at and the emotion. So yeah, we play it down because she's also said recently, I'm saying Christmas holidays are coming soon, you know, you've not got long to go to keep getting into school. And she screamed and said, that's the problem, that's the problem. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, it's the Christmas holidays, then I've got to go back. So we'll think, yeah, you're going to have your time off, you get to the end of the term, but actually she's already worrying about going back to school after the holidays. And school and I are already trying to think of what plan we'll put in place to get her in after the holidays. So that's a big dread for me. Yeah, have I got the right presents? She says on one day she can be quite obsessive with everything and the list is full of schleich horse stuff, but it's particular things. So she tells you she wants this one thing. It's not available anymore. It's only secondhand on eBay. Yeah. And then literally yesterday she's changed her mind completely and wants the other one. And I'm like, it's a week before Christmas. Still can't try. And I know kids change their mind. That's absolutely fine. It's about them being able to understand and process the information on the day when it isn't quite how they expected it to be. So yeah, there's for us it's quite, we want it quite quiet. We will see all the other family, we will get together, but we tend to stay at home at the minute and let other people come to us.
Of course, you've got to do what's right for you. You know your family. You know what's best, and so therefore you've just got to do what's right for you and yours, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you think that you put a lot of pressure on yourself for trying to get it right?
Yeah, definitely. I think last year lockdown was really good in lots of ways because I didn't feel that pressure. I still felt the pressure of getting the presents right and everywhere being quite difficult to access, you know, shopping and things like that. But it was one of those years where we really didn't have anybody because we'd usually have my mum and my sister on Christmas Day. But there was nobody, just us. My mother-in-law lives at the bottom of the garden like a little fairy. And because she's adamant, but she won't mind me saying, I'm sure she's on the spectrum. And she has to have Christmas dinner, whereas we haven't had Christmas dinner for years, except for when we went to my sister-in-law's when my brother-in-law had died. But she cooked the Christmas dinner for us 6 and brought it down to us, and we just went with it and the kids actually did come and sit at the table. They weren't made to, but they did. So it worked out really well. But I had no pressure at all for food or anything. It was just, get the Prosecco and the orange juice out and start the day and let the kids eat sweets and chocolates all day and open the presents. And it was really relaxed. So, there was a lot to say for lockdown last year. But so we're copying it a bit really this year. We've got my mum and sister coming and the kids know that. One big problem though is Darcy getting to sleep. Even with melatonin, oh my God, I couldn't put the stockings anywhere because she was just wide awake. Couldn't do it. It was nightmare, absolute nightmare. Couldn't get it done. I was up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I was absolutely hanging. So yeah, that's a bit difficult because even with, I think she'd had more than double dose melatonin. She was like she was not getting it. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year.
I'm sure that it won't, but regardless anyway, I'm sure that your Christmas day is going to be absolutely amazing. And I just want to say that I commend you so much because you're doing such a good job, and you should know that. And try not to pile too much pressure on yourself because you don't need to. Like you can do it because you know what's right. You know what's right for your family, and I know that you want to try. I know that you need to get it right, but just know that it's right. You've got it. You can do it. You'll nail it. You'll absolutely nail Christmas, I'm sure. With Christmas gifts in mind, we were talking about Christmas gifts and making sure that obviously you're getting the right thing. Now, what can people do to make sure that they're getting the correct type of gifts for other people's children who have autism? So if, for example, I was going to buy your little ones a gift, like what should I even be looking for? Because a lot of people won't understand fully like what they should and shouldn't be really buying because they'll just go off something that has the ages.
Yeah.
But obviously we've got to be really, really inclusive now and think a little bit wider, having that bit more of a wider view. So what do you think would be, or what do you think people should remember when buying gifts?
Speak to the parents because they will have a better idea than anybody. So most of my family now just send me the money and I buy everything and then I divvy it out and I go, that's from so and so, that's from so and so, that's so it's all what they want really. But yeah, talk to the parents, ask the parents what they want, and I think forget about that gratification that you need. Needing a thank you, needing them to look you in the eye or needing them to give you a hug. And that's with any kids, really. We always say never force the kids to kiss uncle, what's his name, who you don't really want to give a kiss to or whatever. I think it's that. Drop that forcefulness of it all and the expectation, because I think that puts my kids especially under pressure. But lots of kids, I think, say thank you. And I still do it myself. I still get it wrong. Say thank you. Say thank you to Nana or so and so, whereas family have got a bit more used to it and they don't need it. I think that's a big thing, really. And understanding that some kids are just going to throw the paper away because actually they're in that moment. They're not even looking at that gift. And they will go back to it probably, but don't be offended. Don't be upset because they've not given it the time that you expect them to give it. Just think their brains work differently to ours, so that pressure they're under when they're opening something in front of someone and thinking, how do I react? What am I going to do? I think that's massive for them.
Of course, definitely. Sermon has commented saying, mate, my hat's off to you and Luke. You've always been amazing, really great real life experience. We'll share this with others and parents waiting for assessment. And that's what you've been wanting to do, is what drew me to want to reach out to you and actually have that conversation with you. It was when we were speaking off air, off camera, like your drive and determination to do something more, to educate people on this whole thing, and obviously how certain systems don't work and what you want to do. And it's that level of passion that people will be inspired from. And I think just you speaking today will inspire quite a lot of people, and just to be more mindful. So you should be really, really commended. Like, you are an amazing human being. So yeah, I do tip my hat off to you. I congratulate you as well for everything that you do. What ideally do you want the world to look at when they look at children with autism?
I want them to just not worry about it. I want them to see it as just a difference and embrace it. Be mindful and understanding and accepting, just like everything else. When there's a perfect world, we won't ask what your sexuality is or whatever, because you'll just start to take people as who they are and not what they are. Not a label, not an illness, or not be defined by it. I think that's just be accepting, and don't always criticize or think, well, I'd never treat them like that. I'd never do that. That walk in those shoes just for a day. Whatever shoes you're walking in, it matters. What's happening to you matters. I remember things were really bad once, and my mother-in-law said, "Oh, but what about those poor people in Haiti?" I think they'd had an earthquake. It must have been years and years ago. And I actually said, "I don't give a flying monkeys about the people in Haiti. I'm bothered about what I'm living right now." Whereas I am very compassionate and I care about everybody else. But sometimes people really need to know they can be allowed to live their own life and worry about their own bit, and not always think somebody else has got to be worse off than me. I've got no right to feel like this. You absolutely have got right to feel like that, because you're living it. Nobody else is, only you. And people might have similar experiences, but they're never ever exactly the same, because they're not made the same as you are to experience them. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to give up work, have loads of money, and be able to look after lots of people and sort things out and change the system, rally the government, do something big. But maybe in the future, one day. At the minute, I'd like to just set up our support group for parents locally, but we haven't got round to it yet. I keep saying, I'll set the WhatsApp group up, but I think we can blame COVID a bit at the minute, because it's not easy, is it, at the minute? But we all keep in touch. Yeah, without my friends and family and that, I don't know what I'd do, really, to be fair.
It sounds like you've got a very, very strong support network there as well. And support network does actually, it's a nice little segue onto my next question. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they're lacking in that support network? What advice would you give to them?
There are official places to go, National Autistic Society and things like that, but look on a Facebook group. I must have just clicked on an ADHD and ASD group, and that's how I connected with you. And I thought, yeah, do you know what? I'll do that. You asked for a volunteer. I thought, yeah, I'll do that. However many weeks later, I was thinking, oh my God, what have I done? But do you know what? Be honest and open. Just tell somebody how crap it is, how bad you're feeling, and they will listen. I think once you're honest and open with somebody, they are much more likely to say, oh my God, yeah, I get it, or I get this because I'm feeling like this about this. But yeah, just be honest and open with people and tell them when things are really bad. Don't bottle it up, and don't think you shouldn't, because your feelings are valid, even though, because but they're in mainstream school. Yes, they're in mainstream school, but you know what? Sometimes a hidden disability is horrendous. horrendous to try and get people to understand, because they say, oh, they're not in a wheelchair, they're not disabled. We went to the theatre in the summer and we'd got special access. I'd got Martha having a panic attack about the crowds to go into the theatre. Darcy was like a scared rabbit. Darcy got her, I can't remember whether she got her, I don't think she got her ear defenders, I think we'd forgotten them. You know, just when everything's gone wrong, you're just thinking, I just need to get in. And I said, we've got special access, where do we go? And he looked at it, he looked at all the 5 of us, and he went, who's disabled then? And I actually said, these 2 are on the autistic spectrum. And I thought, why have I done that? And I got in there and I complained to the theatre after, and she said to send an email and they would do some more training. But that just shocked me. I just thought,
that is really bad.
Yeah, it was. But it really hit home more afterwards, because Luke was absolutely flaming, you know.
Of course.
Days later, it was like, I can't believe it, you know. So I think those types of things are always quite difficult to handle, really. And I know I haven't watched Paddy McGuinness's show, but I know I'm not yet. But he talked about having a disability badge and people questioning it, you know. And I just think, do you know what? Be mindful before you make a judgment of people, because you just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Another comment here, Bev, if people are not confident with their school, can they get EHCP plan themselves?
Yes, you can. And that's what we thought we'd got to do. I was told even by school that we'd got to do it. And I have to say that really overwhelmed me because of everything else we've got going on. I just thought, I can't do it. And I was away with some friends in September and they said, you can, because you've got to do this for your children. And I just thought, I don't know that I've got it in me. I just need to be mum at the minute. I couldn't take it on anyway. There was a big turnaround with school and they said, we're doing it. It's fine. So that was like a massive relief for me. But yes, and I have got some amazing friends who are absolutely unbelievably fantastic, and they have fought for their kids and got their EHC plans, you know. But it's been a massive struggle, and their stories, you just, it would make your hair curl, the things they've had to do, the things people have said to them, the system, the processes that just don't work. But yeah, you can refer yourselves as parents.
Thanks for your question, and thank you for answering that as well, Bev. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you would like the opportunity to discuss now?
Oh God, I can't. I have to keep looking at my notes. I can't remember what I said. I made my notes, didn't I? Because of my menopausal memory. I can't remember my own name some days. I think just perhaps being a bit more thoughtful, being a bit more kind, being a bit more, oh really, you know, and think I might look into that to try and understand a bit more, rather than just making a judgment. I just remember things like my friend says about her Christmas. It's unpredictability, changing the minds, unbelievable expectations, no idea of cost, constant shouting, inability to regulate, can't cope with surprises. I just think it's parental anxiety. The family want to be there, but how's it going to be? You've got more people, more triggers, other people's expectations. Oh my God, in games, I have to say this is quite funny because I like playing games at Christmas, but listen, with my ASD kids, nah, it don't happen. Every time we do try again, we go a few months, then we go, let's play Trivial Pursuit or something, and it just ends up in a massive meltdown or a row, and I just think it's not really worth it, so we won't do it again for a few more months or a couple of years. But yeah, I think that's it really. Just remember, as adults, we build everything up as well. We make it probably 10 times worse for the kids, I think.
I think you're right as well. I think we do. I think we try and make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and in our head, we want this like perfect day. And so therefore, as we talked about before, piling on that pressure on yourself, but essentially you're going above and beyond to do absolutely everything possible to try and make that one special day, when in actual fact, just something small will still have the same effect. And you've got, your family, what you should do, what you don't need to do, and you can pull all of that back down to just make it a nice day, a nice family day, as you're doing, with not, allowing people to come and see you, but you're not making the effort to basically try and get everybody together, because that doesn't work for your family. And you're completely right. It's a case of just pulling down all of these things that are up here, just bringing them down slightly to a point where this works. Let's not change the system, because it's good for them, and they know, and it's still that surprise element. As you said, with like, the presents and stuff, sometimes some children who are on the spectrum would prefer to know that they've got presents, they know where they are, but then they can see the shapes. Other people might be thinking, oh, nobody takes away the magic, and they might be like trying to enforce that. But what you're saying is that you don't need to. Just do what's right for your family, for your children. You know what's best. You don't need to make it into something that's not. Just tone it down a little bit, because it's still a really special day. It's still a very magical day for them. I just want to say a massive thank you for just being so open and honest and vulnerable, and educating us as well, and inspiring some other people out there as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. What was you going to say? Sorry.
Just remember, when you were just saying that, oh, but it spoils the magic. I think we just have to remember, what's your magic isn't my magic, and what's Sermon's magic isn't somebody else's magic anymore. I just think it's about being mindful of other people. And I just have to say a massive thank you to all my friends and family that are out there listening. You're all amazing, and the only reason we're where we are is because of you lot.
Yeah, well done, guys. Thank you as well from me. So yeah, as I said before, you've got a great support network out there, and thank you for offering your help and advice to people who may not necessarily have the same level of support that you have through your friends and family as well. What a treat it's been tonight as well. And I just want to say to everybody who's out there listening to this or watching this live, and obviously to you, Bev, as well, we've discussed this offline, but this is the first time that I'll be saying it to everybody. At some point during season 3 of Spill It, I'm going to be doing a month-long event around autism, around children with autism. What can we do to better support them, to educate people out there, and to hopefully get something set up as well. I'm going to be doing absolutely everything that I can do to try and educate people about the system that's already in place and what we can try and do to make that system better. I'll be trying to sort out working with obviously people like you, Bev, and other people out there to try and come up with a petition that we can obviously set up to try and get the system changed. But then not only that as well, we're going to be trying to do fundraisers throughout that month as well, like once a week fundraisers for a full month to try and raise as much money as we can do for children who have autism as well. So anybody who wants to be part of that, then please let me know. Get in touch. Marcus at spillit.uk. You can come onto the show. As I say, it's going to be a full month of episodes all around children with autism. So if you want to come on the show and you want to do this, then let me know and we will sort that out in the future. Bev, obviously, we may have just spoken tonight, but you're more than welcome to come back in the future again for that month-long episode as well. So it'll be a real treat to have you back on.
Thank you.
So, no problem. Now, where can people find, I know that obviously we talked about it before, but as an official thing, where can people find some more support or get better educated or find out some resources? Where's the best place for them to have a look?
Go to Google, go to National Autistic Society, go on to reputable sites always, and join some support groups on Facebook. That's what I did. And go to your local resources, asking school if ask your schools if they've got any links, or the other thing is in every area will have a a local offer. So you just Google your local offer. Say you live in, I don't know, Leicester local offer. You can go on the website and it links you to all that's available within your area for health and social care. And it might have a specific health page, or it might have a learning disability page, it might have an ASD page, but you'll have to navigate that system. But there are lots of resources and help in there. It's just accessing them.
Thank you so much. What we'll do is that after the show, we will post those links as well so people can get some more information and follow those links, etc. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, obviously you may not see the post on social media, but if you just check the show notes, the links will be available there as well. So just after the episode, just have a quick look up those show links as well, and there'll be direct links for you to follow so you can get that support and get better educated as well. I just want to say, Bev, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know that between us two, like to try and get you onto the show as well, it was a very, very quick turnaround. It was like, do you fancy doing this? And you were like, okay. And then suddenly you're here. And yeah, I know there's been a couple of hiccups in the road, but we're here. We've done it. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I'm sure that you are going to have an amazing Christmas. It's going to be absolutely fab. I would love to be a fly on the wall on that Christmas day, because I know that you're going to make it, no matter what happens, you'll make it special. So I just want to, one more time as well, I just want to say a massive well done and a massive congratulations for doing what you do, for coming onto the show, for being so open, for being so vulnerable, for educating us, educating me. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't even know about, inspiring others as well. You've been an absolute treat coming on the show and just telling your story and educating us all. You should be really, really proud of yourself. And I really, really genuinely cannot wait to work with you in the future again. It's going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely epic. And I cannot wait. So now, before I let you go, though, I can't let you escape. And I know that you're probably melting in that room next to the radiator. So I will keep this nice, short, and sweet for you, so that you can scoot off and cool down a little bit and get a glass of water. But at the end of every episode, my guests leave an inspirational quote that people should be taking away from today's episode. And I'm just wondering if you have got a quote for me, for my viewers at home and my listeners, for them today.
Remember, what you're feeling is valid, and someone out there will listen. Your experiences and what you're living is really valid. Don't belittle it. Just accept it. Find somebody to support you through it. That's about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. What a great quote as well. Brilliant. Samantha has commented saying, well done, Duck. I'm so proud of you. Sermon, great job, guys. We'll tune in again. Howling Moons, amazing, Bev. See, you've got such a great network of people out there as well who have loved what you've done today. Well done. Honestly, a huge well done from me as well. I'll say it again because I don't care. It's my show. I'll say what I want. I really genuinely can't wait to work with you again in the future, because you are truly an inspirational person. You truly are. So if you ever feel like that you doubt that for a second, you ping me a message and I will tell you otherwise, because you really are. You are really, really inspiring. So yeah, you continue being amazing, because you really are. Remember that, okay?
Thank you.
No worries. Now, Bev, get out of that room, go and cool yourself down, get a glass of water, whatever you need to do.
Cooking.
You are now free to say your goodbyes.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening, everybody that has, and thanks for all your comments. And I'll catch up with some of you soon.
Thank you, Bev. It's been a treat. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. And there you go. And that was the end of the episode. What a great episode. And I knew it was going to be a really good episode. It was something that I've been wanting to do for ages. And I'm so glad that it was Bev that I was able to have that conversation with. And it was just by chance. As I say, I'd My nephew is on the spectrum. He has autism, and it was something that I felt very strongly that I needed to talk about. My sister has got in touch and said, you really need to do this. And she has pushed and pushed and pushed and really wanted me to do this episode. But I needed to make sure it was right. I needed to make sure that the person that I had on was the correct person. And I know that, it's been a while, and I know all the way through this year, she's been saying to me, you really need to do this episode. Why have you done this episode yet? And for me, the way that my brain works, I needed it to be the right person. I needed it to be the correct person. And I joined so many different groups talking about the work that I do, talking about this as a platform. And Bev got in touch, and just speaking to Bev outside of the group, just via Facebook Messenger, I knew that this was the right person. This was the right person to tell their story. I needed somebody exactly like Bev. So once again, I'm so grateful for her to come on the show. And as I say, it was just by chance, just by the fact that I joined these groups and I talked about it and Bev got in touch. I just want to say a massive thank you, because it has meant so much to me, and I'm sure that my sister will be really grateful for that as well. And as I say, it's not going to be the end. It's not going to be the end of Bev. Bev will be back, I'm sure, at some point in the future when we do our month-long episodes of children with autism, and we will do that in 2022. Because, ladies and gentlemen, thems and friends, there are 2 episodes of Spill It Season 2 left. That's it. 2 episodes left. I can't believe it. We've managed to get 2 years worth of episodes every single week, live over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Every single week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened with tonight's episode, but for some reason, tonight's episode isn't on Facebook for some reason. Hopefully, it'll be posted there afterwards. Hopefully, after when this episode ends, it will then be posted out. I'm really hoping that. So I apologize to anybody who wanted to watch this via Facebook and has not been able to, or live, or they've not been able to comment live or whatever. I really do appreciate you, and I really do apologize for not being able to go live via Facebook, but I do thank you for your patience and your understanding as well. If you're wanting to get in touch with me about tonight's episode or about future episodes or just this platform in general, you want to come on the show, you want to be on the show in 2023, all you ever have to do is just get in touch with me via email. Just drop me an email if you've got comments and questions or whatever about tonight's episode. Marcus@spillit.uk is the best way that you can get in touch with me. I will look at all of my emails. I will reply to every single one out there as well. Or you can get in touch with me via social media. If you search for Spillit_Marcus on any platform, you will find me. Whether that be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whether it be TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I do funny videos on TikTok, apparently. But wherever you find me, wherever you can see a social media, you will find me by just searching for Spillit_Marcus. For the links to all my social medias, for the email address to get in touch with me directly, to find out anything about Spill It, you just have to head over to the Spill It website, www.spillit.uk. It's as simple as that. There is no .co.uk. It is just spillit.uk. That is it. And you'll find everything that you need to and more over on there as well, including links to join the official Patreon, where you can support me in the work that I do by just donating £2 per month. That is it. And that keeps Spill It growing more. It gets to help with Spill It's events happening in 2022, like the Spill It live events, and so much more. Thank you so much one more time for Bev, my amazing guest for this evening. Thank you so much to everybody at home who has been listening to this or watching this live. Thank you again to those Facebook people who may be watching this and have missed out on tonight's episode live. I'm really hoping that you guys have been able to catch this episode after the live, so thank you for your patience. Honestly, it genuinely means so much to me that you guys tune in every single week. Genuinely does. 2 episodes left. That's it. Excited. Okay. I'm going to get emotional. And until we spill it again, it's bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Spill It. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Spill It goes live every week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And a special thank you to these amazing teacups.